Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown, Dunkirk, and Westfield, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Doc Hamels, and welcome back to Chautauqua Sunrise. Good afternoon for those of you that are somewhere else in the world in a different time zone. We have people watching us everywhere in the world. Good afternoon also to all my listeners on WRFA 107.9. Low power to the people in Jamestown, Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. Thanks for joining us. Today we have a show that we're going to talk about a health concern in our society on Alzheimer's. So I really encourage you, as I do every show, but this one as well, to stick around. And if you can't watch the whole show, remember we're going to be on YouTube. You can watch us again on Spectrum 1301 at 2 and 8 every day throughout the week. And you can check out our Facebook page because we post our shows there as well. So do stick around. Throughout the show, you may have a question about Alzheimer's or something else that we're talking about. And you can give us a call at 716-753-5225. Throughout the week, if you have a concern or a question or you want to follow up, you can always go to our email address, chautauquasunrise@gmail.com, or call this number and leave a message and we'll get back to you. No problem. Always remember that this show is all about the good stuff, the important stuff that goes on here in Chautauqua County. And today is no exception. Hope you're enjoying today's weather and tomorrow's weather. It's been kind of a crazy summer, to say the least. Got more rain the other day. What the heck? But at least we're not having a drought or forest fires and all those wildfires that those poor folks are dealing with out west. Okay. If you're first time here in Chautauqua County and you're visiting, we want to welcome you. We want to encourage you to partake of all the great stuff that goes on in this county. And I can't list them all, but we've got museums, we've got farmers markets, we've got swimming, fishing, boating, kayaking, we've got trails you can walk, we've got awesome restaurants. Just walk around our communities. We just got so much good stuff going on here in the county, and people here will be happy to give you directions and so forth. So welcome to our county. Got some things I want to share with you, and one is kind of an odd one, I have to admit, but once I tell you what it is, you'll understand. My Rotary Club, the Westfield Mayville Rotary Club, we are looking for unused Christmas cards. We talked about this last year. Now you might say, what the heck? All right, we collect unused Christmas cards that you might have, I don't know, 15 extra ones that you aren't going to use because you used them last year or whatever, or you got them up in your closet or attic or whatever. As long as they have a matching envelope, we want your cards. What do we do with them? Sometime in November, we get a bunch of Rotarians together and we sit around and we sign the cards and we prep them and we distribute them to the VA, to seniors that are kind of can't get out of the house, any group that we feel that would love a holiday greeting. Now you might say, well, we get cards all the time. No, people don't get cards all the time. And we have actually run into people say if it had been our Christmas card, they would have gotten no greeting from the outside world at all. So with that, I want to ask you to let me know here at the studio. Again, you can leave a message, 753-5225. I'll be happy to come to your business or your home and pick up the cards. 3 years ago, I met a woman at one of the plazas by Red Lobster there, and she gave me like 1,800 cards because she had been doing a similar project down in Pennsylvania and no longer was doing it. And it about pulled my back out. I mean, that's how heavy the box was, and we went through it. So we used 2,000 cards last year, and the VAs in the whole area, Meals on Wheels, wherever, we do that as a project, as our club. Also, for those of you in the Westfield Mayville area, if you know Linda Dunn and JB, they have agreed to be a center point for you to call them or to drop off the cards at their house. So this year, again, we're going to do this project, and we thank you for that. And I'll mention in the next couple of weeks as well. So Christmas cards with envelopes that fit that card. Trust me, I've got cards that I don't know where they came from, and I don't know where the envelopes are. It's like that missing sock. Okay, got a bunch of announcements to share with you right now. The annual Westfield Antique Show, sponsored by the Chautauqua County Historical Society, is returning to the village this summer. After being canceled in 2020 due to COVID-19 pandemic, like nobody knows that, the whole world was shut down. This year's antique show will be held Saturday, August 14th. Is that today? That's today, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, August 15th, to 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Easton Hall, over at 23 Elm Street, Westfield, New York. The event will feature antique furniture, dining sets, glassware, silver, jewelry, and a whole lot more. Over 20 different dealers will be in attendance. I don't know about you, I didn't realize today was the middle of the month. It's like, whoo, where'd that go? No laughing over there. Admission for the antique show is only $5 for both days. Free parking is available in the municipal lot on Elm Street, and that's only like a half a block from Easton Hall, if it's even that much. Free street parking is available on all streets surrounding Moore Park. Okay, for more information, I guess best thing is give them a call at 326-2977. It's a lot of fun activity, and it's a great day to get out and go check out the antiques, okay, today and tomorrow. All right, local music showcase and art market. This is featured by Infinity, and as I've mentioned before, I've been a participant over the years, not so much lately, but over the years, we got like 40 different bands throughout the region, and we played all over the place, and but it's a little different this year. So this is a save the date. This is coming up. Seems that this is the middle of August. This is sort of like in the middle of September. The Infinity Visual and Performing Arts is excited to announce the local music showcase and art market on Saturday, September 11th, 2021, from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. at, I got to say this right. I was saying this wrong. Help me. Not Basil. Basil. I was saying it wrong last week, and I was corrected by my chief of staff here. I was saying...
Some people can pronounce it the other way.
Thank you. Basil and Bones I was saying Basel, 2061 Foot Avenue in Jamestown. That's why I hesitated, because I couldn't remember how I said it wrong. This year, due to the COVID-19 restrictions, Infinity is combining the two events into an outdoor single-location fundraising event that will feature Basil and Bones, food, live music, art and craft vendors, performance artists, live Infinity and Pearl City Clay House classes for community members, and other family-friendly activities. Follow Infinity on Facebook for more announcements about Infinity's local music showcase and art market event. Okay, and you can go to their website at infinityperformingarts, all one word, .org. Okay, great program, great day, and they help mentor and bring along the youth into all the arts and all the good stuff that we enjoy. Music at the Reg, live on the stage, August 20th. Okay. I know some of the guys on the one side, not the other guys though. Doors open 6 p.m. The Probables at 7 p.m. and the Town Pants at 8 p.m. The Probables I've actually opened for with my band, the Growlers, that I'm in. Formed over 20 years ago, Vancouver-based the Town Pants have performed in venues as small as local pubs all the way to outdoor stages to international festivals. The band regularly plays the Great Blue Heron Festival and headline the Reg Linné Center for the Arts 2019 3rd Street Beer and Wine Festival. Jamestown, New York's The Probables are a rhythm-driven folkana band. Folkana, that's a new word. Most of us say Americana, but folkana. Though formed in 2016, the individual band members have been performing for decades in a number of other ensembles. The Great Blue Heron Festival, Veterans fuse Americana, folk, contemporary, bluegrass, and rock styles for a unique blend of music. I can speak from experience. They're terrific, and Adam McKillop actually has filled in for me when I couldn't play one time because I had my second COVID shot that day and I wasn't taking any chances. Tickets for the concert are only $25, and there's a $1 theater restoration fee per patron. Seating is general admission. Vaccinated patrons are not required to wear masks. Admission requirements subject to change. So that's coming up August 20th. Great show coming for you. It's so great to see live music back, isn't it? All right, this is kind of an interesting one. This is from our friends at Prevention Works. Drugs are an ongoing and rising problem in Chautauqua County and beyond. Opioids, overdoses are some of the common types of medical emergencies involving drugs. Overdoses can kill. As a person begins to overdose, their breath slows and may even stop. The key to saving the life of a person who is overdosing is to get them breathing again as quickly as possible. Overdoses are most common among those who use opioids and may be increasing in some populations or areas recently in the context of COVID-19. Drug overdoses from other drugs, example cocaine and things like cocaine, methamphetamines. Why you guys do this to me in the morning? Have also been increasing largely due to the mixing of these drugs with opioids such as fentanyl. I got that one. Factors that increase the risk of overdose and death include drug use, including a drug-free period, mixing substances using alone and having, mixing substances using alone and having other medical conditions such as a lung or heart condition. If you suspect an overdose, this is what you should do. Ready? Call 911, of course. Administer naloxone or Narcan. Narcan, thank you. Giving naloxone to a person who is overdosing can save their life. COVID-19 should not stop you from using this medication. If needed, it's very safe to do so. If you are trained and comfortable doing so, you can also do rescue breathing and chest compressions until they wake up. When the person wakes up, advise them that treatment can help and that medication is available for opioid use disorder and wait for emergency help to arrive. All right, that medication, naloxone, is also, as we just said, called Narcan. Is a medication that can rapidly reverse an opioid overdose from a prescription opioid, heroin, fentanyl, and other drugs mixed with opioids. Because fentanyl is more potent than other opioids, additional doses of Narcan may be required to reverse an overdose. All right, now, virtual Narcan training is now available to anyone interested in learning about this life-saving medication. All right, and you can contact Prevention Works for more information on that. Okay? Let's see, what do we got here? There's a virtual walk coming up on August 21. It's a 5-run walk. Staying active, prioritizing our mental health is vital to improving our overall wellness. To get our bodies and minds moving, the Suicide Prevention Alliance of Chautauqua County is proud to announce its annual Glow Your Mind 5K run walk that will take place virtually on August 21. To register for the event, visit Prevention Suicide CHQ. Okay, that's all one word, preventsuicidechq.com, or visit the Suicide Prevention Alliance Facebook page to find course details and additional information. All the proceeds raised by the event stay local for suicide prevention efforts in Chautauqua County. Are you getting kind of the message that things are not necessarily so rosy right now? All right, between opioids and suicide? Something to think about, folks. The Glow Run is a collaboration of the Suicide Prevention Alliance of the Chautauqua County, Chautauqua Tapestry, and the Chautauqua County Department of Mental Health. The partnership came out of the group's common goal to generate awareness that mental wellness and physical wellness are of equal importance in everyone's lives. Additional sponsors include Combat Addiction CHQ, Media One, and Fresh Press Studios. Let's see, for more information, give them a call at 1-800-724-0461. And there's also, if you are listening and you know somebody that's in dire straits, they can call a suicide prevention number of 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255. Okay? So, a lot of stressors going on right now. Okay, let's go to the dogs. Rabies immunization clinic. All right, the Chautauqua County Department of Health and Human Services Division of Public Health has announced a free rabies vaccination clinic, which will be held this coming Thursday, the 19th, from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Town of Ellington Highway Garage on East Main Street, Route 20 in Kennedy, New York. Vaccinations will be provided free of charge to all dogs, cats, and domestic ferrets. I didn't know they got rabies shots. 3 months of age and older. The Town of Ellington will sponsor the event. Dr. Mary Falls will be attending as the veterinarian. Okay, unvaccinated people must wear face masks. Please follow all COVID and social distancing measures established by the Town of Ellington. Pet owners must bring previous rabies and vaccination records for each animal receiving a shot to ensure proper and effective vaccination. Clinic staff will confirm previous rabies vaccination records. All dogs must be on a leash. Imagine all those dogs running around. Small dogs may be in a carrier. All cats must be in carriers. For more information, give them a call at 753-4481. Now, 2 more to go. Baseball. Who's been watching all those kids playing baseball this summer? There are hundreds of kids playing baseball in different leagues and age groups across the county. One league in particular is visiting the Jamestown area this week to complete their season. This week, August 13th through the 21st, is the 40th anniversary Babe Ruth 13-year-old World Series. How cool is that? The event kicked off Friday at 6 p.m. with a parade, and there were champions in downtown Jamestown. There's 10 teams that will hit the field starting today at 11:30 at the Russell Dietrich Jr. Park. How cool is it to have your own park? 485 East Faulkner Street in Jamestown. They want you to come out and support these folks. For more information, give them a call, 664-0405. And finally, friends at Habitat for Humanity who do awesome work. They're having a fundraiser, Raise the Roof it's called, a fundraiser to the music of TJ North. I know at least one of those guys, that's Jim Scrivens there with the guitar. They're going to be playing music of the 60s, 70s, 80s, and this is going to be held Friday, September 3, from 6:30 to 9 o'clock at Chautauqua Suites in Mayville. Pizza, mini beef on weck, meatballs, stuffed mushrooms, bruschetta, deviled eggs, salad station, plus cheese and veggies and relishes, all kinds of great food. Cash bar, only $35 per person, and this is to support the Habitat for Humanity. Tickets, advance sale only. You want a ticket, give my buddy Mike Ricketts a call, 338-8864. Again, 338-8864. I'm tired of reading all those tough words. Yikes. Basil. We're going to take a little break. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
That's got to be Smokey Bear Jr. He's got to grow up yet to get it. Only you can prevent forest fires.
I know.
All right. Folks, we've talked about a couple things today, opioids, and we talked about suicide and other social issues on other shows. Today we're going to talk about Alzheimer's. So I looked up a little bit of Alzheimer's, and the gentleman in Germany back in the turn of the century, in 1907, kind of put together a paper on this whole matter. When we were growing up, we saw people that, I don't know, they acted odd. We would laugh at them as kids, stupid kids that we were. We didn't know any better. We would say, oh, they're loony, they're getting crazy, they're just old, they're feeble-minded. People had all these horrible terms. And we looked at people not as people, but we looked at their condition. We did that in my own line of work with special education. We always saw a handicap, we saw a disability, but we forgot about the person. Today we're going to talk about people, real people, just like you and me, that are suffering from Alzheimer's. So I want to welcome back to my show a good friend of mine, Dr. Mary Ann Spanos, who's the director of the Office for Aging Services for Chautauqua County, and a second generation member of the Corwin family, Claire Corwin, who is the member of the Alzheimer's Association out of Buffalo, and you have a special outreach title, right?
Yes, so I am the Community Outreach Specialist for the Western New York chapter. My focus is on every single community, but particularly I am the Chautauqua County liaison as well. Mm-hmm. So it helps to have that local connection, to be involved in fun things like this and understand exactly how we can best serve
she says
our
fun
county.
Now, you haven't finished the show yet.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how fun it is.
It is fun. Mm-hmm. Okay, so.
It is fun, and we're thrilled to have Claire
Yes, your mom was
as
very
our
thrilled that
community
you were
liaison. I've watched Claire kind of grow up here. Dana was one of the first people I hired at the Office for Aging Services 14 years ago.
Wow.
And
Has it been
so
that long?
it has
Oh
been
my
that
gosh.
long. And so we're just thrilled. Over the years, she and her sisters have done different events with us, and so we're hoping that we made a little bit of influence on her career
Obviously,
choice.
Definitely did. Between you and my mom, I think this path was picked out very well.
So, Miriam, why don't you frame today's discussion, and then we'll get into what Claire does and so on.
Sure. So, the great thing about the time we live in right now is that we're living longer. We're living a lot longer. And you used to see, people reaching 100 was a very special thing. It's not as special anymore because so many people are reaching that 100-year-old mark. Alzheimer's and dementia. Dementia is the actually broader term for any type of deterioration of brain function. And Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia. So we talk about them interchangeably, but there are many different types of dementia.
So dementia is the umbrella,
Dementia,
and Alzheimer is just one part of that.
Right, and it's probably the major portion of that. And
It's about 50 to 75% of all diagnosed cases.
Wow.
But it is a disease of getting older. You know, they estimate that 1 in 3 people over the age of 85 will have some form of dementia. And there isn't like one, you know, while there are some genetic markers for dementia in some families, that's not true across the board. Sometimes dementia can form because we've let chronic conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other things, you know, go. We aren't controlling those situations. I'll tell you about my uncle. You know, I just saw him after not having seen him for quite a while, and he looked so great and spoke so well. But the last time I saw him, he wasn't eating properly. Your brain needs a constant flow of food and oxygen in order to function properly. And brain cells can die if we're not feeding our brains properly. So as we get older and don't eat properly, don't control our diabetes, which, you know, very high blood sugars can impact, you know, food and oxygen getting to the brain. When there is blood pressure problems, all of these things can lead to, you know, brain cell death. And depending on where that, you know, what part of the brain is affected, you will see different types of dementia.
Okay, a couple questions, and Claire, jump in wherever. I'll let you guys tag team me here. Let's start with the word disease. Okay, when I think of disease, I think of cancer. I think of heart conditions where you know, the heart is deteriorating. Why do we call it a disease? I mean,
Well,
that might be a hard question. I don't know. I mean, or does it simply fit the category of diseases? I mean, what makes it a disease?
well, it's a change from the normal.
Okay.
Your normal healthy brain doesn't have dementia. In Alzheimer's, you see very specific, and maybe Claire can talk about the plaques and
Yep.
tangles.
Those plaques and tangles, which
Whoa, plaques and tangles.
Yeah, so that's what, in your research, Dr. Alzheimer, he hallmarked Alzheimer's disease with the presence of plaques and tangles in the brain. So because there are different types of dementia, they're caused by different things, Alzheimer's specifically, we know we can be diagnosed with this through the presence of plaques and tangles in the brain.
All right, let's define those terms. Because I always represent the person on the other side of this screen. So what do we mean by plaque? That's the stuff on your teeth.
Kind of. It's also, what the plaque is, it's a buildup of amyloid plaque in the brain. So it basically, if my brain is like this, and I have synapses that connect one part of this to the next part, there's something almost inside of there, and it's making it harder to jump from point A to point B, if that makes any sense.
So it's like 2 telephone poles, and you're not getting the message between the 2?
Kind of.
Okay.
If you can visualize it like that.
So
yeah.
what does the plaque do?
It contributes to that deterioration of the brain that Marianne was talking about and makes cognition much more difficult. So depending on where we're located, it affects all types of...
So it coats the nerves or neurons, or?
Yeah, it just interferes with them
It's in the
talking
brain.
to each other. Our thought processes are twofold. I mean, they are electrical and they are chemicals that cross over, as Claire said, these spaces, these synapses, to allow that thought to go from one part of the brain to the other.
Okay, now this is where I have to pause for a moment. We all have those moments, as I do on every show, where I have a blank. That not necessarily what we're talking about here.
No.
Sometimes we all just draw a blank, whatever that means. But I mean, people listening right now, I don't want to freak them out, you know. Or we forget something. I mean, we've all done that. You know, we go to the kitchen to get something, we end up doing something different, or say, why? What got me here? Because things are on our mind. Other things contribute, but this is a medical, physical condition that is causing these things, not just you're tired or something like that.
And we like to categorize it as deterioration of the brain that interferes with your daily functioning.
Okay.
So, you know, we all have those moments. And you're right, it's because we're trying to think about 10 things at once. I love to tell the story about when my kids were little, you know, the crazy things I used to put in the refrigerator because I was trying to take care of these 2 toddlers. And, you know.
Why is my phone in the refrigerator?
So, you know, we all do that. And some people get very worried after they stop working because they stop using, you know, day planners and things, and they think, oh my God, I'm getting more forgetful. Well, no, you stopped using the tools
Behavior change.
that you used to remember when you were working. But
Okay. So let's hold that thought. Let's go back to tangles. We talked about plaque. So it's like a coating, or it's something that gets all over the stuff.
Essentially.
And goofs up communication. So what are the tangles?
Essentially the same thing.
Oh, I've never heard
So,
tangles before.
yeah.
I've heard
It's just the way
the
that
plaque
they-
in other areas. Okay.
It's the way that it presents on an MRI or anything like that, a scan of the brain. So it kind of shows where there may be an issue.
Okay. Now, I was always under the impression that brain cells regenerate. Is not true?
well, they can regenerate. But when you have this new substance coming in and wrapping around them and interfering, that's, you know, you're putting something in that interferes with brain function. So other parts of the brain sometimes can take over, but these are usually happening all over the brain.
The question just came through while you were talking from a listener. Is the plaque the same as the plaque that's in your blood vessels?
No. So this
Okay.
is an amyloid plaque. It's a different buildup. Plaque in your blood vessels would be, you know, any type of cholesterol, fat,
yeah.
anything that's, you know, we encourage people not to do anyway, because what's good for your body
Right.
is good for your brain.
Okay, so you mentioned diabetes and you mentioned high blood pressure. So that's putting chemicals into your body because of those conditions? Is that what's creating this plaque?
No, this creates itself, you know, as we age. It's part of that process of the disease. So it's not necessarily due. We don't know what causes it, to be frank with you.
Okay.
There's no known cause to why someone would develop dementia, specifically Alzheimer's disease. Some have, you know, we can say, okay, this person had a stroke, so they have vascular dementia, then part of the blood flow was cut off to the brain. But for Alzheimer's disease specifically, there's no known cause and there's also no known cure.
So I don't want to say that having diabetes is related to getting Alzheimer's.
Okay.
But there is a higher risk.
Yes, having diabetes and having high blood pressure can lead to dementia, especially if they're uncontrolled, because high blood pressure can lead to bleeds in the brain, a type of stroke where you bleed and kill off part of the brain.
All right.
Parkinson's.
This is complicated.
It
It is
very
very complicated, yes.
You know, and that's why, you know, the walk to end Alzheimer's is so important. So many people are affected. It's so different. There's a spectrum of different problems with dementia. And, you know, we need to find a cure because this is affecting a lot of people.
So I mentioned 1907, I think, when Dr. Alzheimer published his work. So really, it's 100 years and they still haven't found a cure. Are there things you can do other than the diabetes and the blood pressure? I mean, you take medicine for that. Good diet? I mean,
Good diet.
What should people be thinking right now? We don't want to leave them hanging right now.
Oh no, we recommend a Mediterranean diet. That's one of the
Mediterranean.
best things you can do for your body. It's a very healthy diet. So that's been proven to help. So continue to exercise.
So that's cannoli,
Great.
pizza. We're talking vegetables and fish.
Vegetables, fish,
Good olive oil.
Good olive oil.
good fats in your body. Yeah, Marianne's got the hookup
Yeah,
with
I
good
know
olive
that.
oil.
I
So,
know that. I saw that plug.
oh yeah. But staying active, if even if you can incorporate a half-hour walk in your day, a bike ride, brain activities. Your brain, just like any other part of your body, functions best when you continue to use it regularly. So if you like puzzles, if you like to, do word games or anything like that, keep yourself engaged. That helps.
Okay.
And there's a lot of cool websites about brain health and brain health activities. As Claire said, it's good to keep your brain engaged, and learning new things is one of the best ways to keep your brain engaged. Don't just do the things you've always done, but challenge your brain with new activities, new thoughts, new puzzles, new types of things.
The pandemic must have really just raised havoc for folks that haven't done those things that you just mentioned because they were isolated.
Exactly.
So what would you say to folks that are hesitant because COVID is still out there? What can they do now, right now? I mean, people are a little scared to go out right now.
Well, we are, our staff, first of all, is starting to get out and see people in their homes again. We are all vaccinated. We have a special program with the Alzheimer's Association for caregivers who are caring for somebody with Alzheimer's and dementia. And you're right, both the people with dementia and their caregivers. It was a very, very stressful time this last year as they were isolated in their homes, adult days shut down. They didn't want people to come in to give them some respite. So, we have a lot of different things to help in this situation. I think you had our animatronic cats and dogs.
Oh, they were great.
They're
They were great.
We are starting to work on a project with putting devices in people's homes so that they can access online learning platforms like New York State rolled out for us. It's called Get Set Up, and uses Zoom to have small classes with other people. You can explore different hobbies. You can get together with other caregivers and talk. You can learn something new. And they're all other seniors, other older adults just like you getting together. And the classes are live. You can watch them, after they've been live, but they go from like 7 in the morning till 7 at night, 7 days a week, with people all over the country. So
Claire,
pretty exciting.
I asked you to speak about caregivers. Marianne and I have talked about this in a few other agencies about caregivers because they're sort of the invisible folks that are out there that are just getting beat into the ground.
They are glue.
And many people are tired. Alzheimer's, generally, in my memory of all this, it's a long time process, and caregivers are involved for a long time. Caregivers, children, spouses, neighbors, whatever. So what advice or services, in addition to what Marianne just mentioned, is available for folks? Or if someone just now has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's and they're a caregiver with that person or whatever, what would you tell first-timers what to do and what to think about?
The first thing I would tell them to do is call their local OFA, which of course we have a wonderful partnership with them.
All right, let's stop there.
So-
The Office for the Aging Services, and let's pop that up because we always have that here. The phone number, which would be what?
New York Connects.
Okay, Jeff has that number. I know somewhere. He'll pop that up here in a minute.
753-4582.
All right, so there it is. All right, see, we have
Oh,
that pretty
that's
low.
not the
Perfect.
right number.
Oh.
That's our general office number.
Oh.
Don't you have New York Connects on there too?
Yeah, I think we have New York Connects. Well, what? Aha!
There
we
it
go.
is.
See, we got everything here. We're prepared. Thanks, Jeff. So it's 753-4582. So when they call that number, what would they say? I mean, people just don't. I want right now for you to give those people the words to say. What do they say when they call that number?
So if you're calling the Office for the Aging and you have a loved one who's just gotten a diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease or any type of dementia, you're a caregiver, you're concerned about them, it could just be a family friend, you're looking for resources. You can say, I'm a caregiver for a person who has dementia.
Right. You don't have to say who
what
it is.
Exactly.
Right.
If you're not comfortable with it, certainly don't disclose anything that you wouldn't want disclosed yourself. but let them know the situation that you're dealing with. Let them explain to you the services that they can offer. And then the second step, I would say, if the Office for the Aging hasn't already done it, is refer to the Western New York chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. We have tons of free programs that we're working very, very hard to keep in every community. We run caregiver support groups, which are an excellent resource. They're very specialized. So if, for example, you are a daughter of someone who has Alzheimer's disease and you're a caregiver, we have a group specifically for daughters. So we have all types of different ones, or just general groups, but it's very helpful even to tune in via Zoom if you just want to sit back and listen for the first round and get some tips, some tricks, decide if it's really for you. There are education programs. So if you have really in-depth questions about Alzheimer's, dementia, those plaques and tangles, maybe a specific type, you can tune in virtually, or you can attend with masks a program put on by one of our staff members. So
Now that's here in Chautauqua County?
we'll be putting them on in Chautauqua County as well.
Just give an example, where would you have these meetings?
That depends. So part of my job is to find these really good locations that can draw people in. So I'm looking at places that are accessible and that people are able to get to and really feel comfortable going to, asking these questions. So someplace a little cozy, maybe the Patterson Library. I know we've had some events there. Up at the Turner Community Center, they have tons of classrooms. They've always been very, very welcoming. Totally use that connection.
So it could be anywhere across Chautauqua
Anywhere in the
County.
community.
We've done them at the Dunkirk Senior Center.
Yeah.
We've done it North Harmony.
So let me create a workload for you. So if someone's listening right now, a club or organization, senior group or whatever, and they would like a presentation, they should contact your office, Mary?
Either one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Please.
can call me and we'll call them.
All right,
You
but we
can call
haven't-
them,
but we
they'll call
haven't-
me.
But we haven't given your number. Then what's your number?
So our helpline number, which is forwarded to our office, we try to get everything through there, is 1-800-272-3900.
Okay.
So for all Alzheimer's needs, I would say if you're trying to contact the association, go through that number. In that same vein, if you're a caregiver, that's going to be my first number that I refer you to if it's after hours, if you need some emotional support, if it's 3 a.m. and we are just not having a good day, if it's frustrating and you don't know what to do, or you just have a question, call them. It's staffed by counselors just like myself who are able to walk you through it. We can make an action plan, or they can just sit there and listen if you need to chat.
Okay, so here's the tough question. I like to ask these tough questions. Again, thinking about the person on the other side of that screen. What does Alzheimer's look like in the early stages? Because I'll tell you what, is many of us have dealt with seniors, my parents and and other folks, and we say, gosh, if I would have known that, maybe I would have tried to get them diagnosed sooner. So this is a tough question. I know it's a tough question.
It is a very tough question.
So what are the telltale signs early on that we don't want everybody running and saying you got Alzheimer's or whatever, but what would be some indicators that would kind of say, I think we need to check this out?
We'll talk about that, but I want to direct people to one place.
Okay, go for
It's
it.
called Dementia Friends USA.
Mm-hmm.
These are are 3-minute videos, and if you watch 2 of them and put in your email address, you will become a dementia friend.
And I have my certificate out in the lobby.
But it really walks you through that kind of thing. What does, we all think of dementia in the terms of people that can't remember anything, and that's only part of it. Many people start off with dementia with having trouble with higher functioning, like make judgment calls. And the thing is, their personality doesn't change a lot. And so we just think that they're getting a little ornery, and
So if they were ornery to begin with, become more ornery.
they become more ornery.
So I'm going to be
and,
lovable when I get older.
and remember, people will tell you what you think you want to hear too. A lot of what our speech is kind of automatic. And so it's really hard to figure out if somebody in the early stages has dementia. You see them stop paying their bills. You see them, things piling up. They're not taking their medicine. Especially if they were very regular about doing these kinds of things.
So behavioral things you're looking at.
Yeah.
So these are
Yeah.
things you can actually, as a family member or friend, we can see.
But it's very subtle, so you explain it away, and they will explain it away.
I just didn't get to it. Or,
Right,
yeah,
and
okay.
it's a reasonable explanation.
Right.
You know, and I think that makes it really tough. I asked this caregiver once about her mom was such a rabble-rouser, you know, and she started to make accusations that weren't true, and it got a lot of people around her upset. And I said to the daughter, you know, oh, what, you know, is this how Mom always was? And she said, no, everything my mom did was based in truth. So she was the same kind of rabble-rouser, but now the things she was saying were made up. Where, you know, the daughter knew these things were not true. And it almost got her kicked out of senior housing, the things she was saying. And the people at the senior housing didn't understand, you know, they were just upset that she was, you know, saying things like, well, it just happened that when they sprayed for bugs, as they do in many housing units, that the neighbor's dog died around the same time. And
you killed that dog.
Exactly, exactly. And so, you know, I've heard things like that. I've heard this gentleman, another case here in our county, that he's passed away now. His cousin was trying to help him, and you know, he would kind of hold him hostage at his house, and he couldn't get away. And he said, I have to leave. And this 80-year-old man laid down in front of his car. Yeah. And so, you know, like, those are, you know, pretty
extreme,
bizarre things. But, you know, he could communicate.
Yeah.
What he said made sense. It just, you know, kind of his same personality was there. It just got worse. And
exaggerated almost. Yeah.
Exaggerated.
Yeah. Hold that thought. Folks, you're watching Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels, and my guest today are Claire Corwin, who's an
community outreach specialist.
Specialist for the Alzheimer's Association, and Dr. Marianne Spanos is the director of the Office for Aging Services in Chautauqua County. I got no phone calls. This is a hot topic. This is a deep subject. So if you do have a question, please don't hesitate to give us a call, 753-5225. Or if you're bashful, you can call those numbers later on. Okay, so we're talking about behaviors to kind of look for. So those are pretty obvious and pretty significant when somebody lays down in front of a car. Alzheimer's, though, starts to nibble away at every aspect of your life. So let's continue on. Like, what will be the next phase after that, perhaps? Because I was shocked. I didn't realize that this was an ongoing progressive thing.
Yeah, this disease takes quite a long time, and it's something that manifests in everyone a little bit differently. Just like snowflakes, everyone's brain is different, so the way that it progresses in everyone will be different. Typically, we categorize the stages as early, middle, and late, but there's a lot of gray area. You know, you can have symptoms of the early stage and the middle stage, so there's no defining spot of where someone is. But I think the next most important thing, once you see those behavioral changes, is looking for changes in someone's social ability. Are they withdrawing from conversation? Are they finding that it's harder to interact with people in what they normally would do if they normally have a weekly lunch with their friends? Are they starting to not go as much? Because if we think about it, going out to lunch takes a lot of cognitive effort. There's conversation, there's deciding what you want on the menu, there's
a lot
interacting.
Of decisions to make.
There's
right?
a lot of decisions to make. So watching that social piece and making sure that we support those people as they're starting to see these changes.
Okay, we're going to come back to that in a minute. We have a phone call. Good morning, caller.
Hey, good morning, Dak. I have a question now. We've been talking about caregivers. A person that has Alzheimer's, can they understand what people are saying to them?
Yes.
That's a good question.
Stages? I know a lot of people talk in front of them, and say stupid things, and
yeah.
I just wonder if they can, figure out what they're saying, or if they're just, what they're actually thinking when you're talking about them.
Okay, either one of you.
Yeah, the most important thing, the person who has Alzheimer's can understand what you're saying. They might not understand every piece of it, but about 90% of our communication is nonverbal. So if I'm sitting here and I'm talking to Marianne and I'm not really talking to her, I'm not really looking at her, but you can tell that I'm talking about her. Well, she's probably not going to like that much. She's
Right.
not going to be as thrilled, and that might contribute to that social withdrawal. So instead of sitting there and talking about Marianne, what I want to do is include Marianne in the conversation. Give your 2 cents on this, and make sure that they're a part of their care planning and their decision making. Keeping someone empowered with choice, even if it's, Doc, would you like turkey or ham?
Mm-hmm.
I've given you the choice there, so making sure that they're involved.
And that's what I like about Dementia Friends USA is it kind of takes you through early stages and those scenarios. You're at a restaurant and you see somebody struggling over the menu. And you could say to yourself, maybe they do have dementia. You don't know that for sure, but it tells you how you could assist them. They're at the store and they are going up to the register and you're the clerk and you say it's $1.26.
And they
you
dump their money on the counter.
And so because making change is hard for them is one of those first things. And so helping, and it describes what's going on with them and how you can help them. What's going on in this situation? And it takes you through a lot of different situations at the store, at the library, as a first responder.
Getting on the bus,
getting
somewhere.
on the bus.
Right.
Yes,
I remember that part.
all of those things.
Caller, does that answer your question? Or do you have a follow-up?
I just wondered also, when they get into they get farther into it, where they're like just sitting there and their eyes are closed, are they actually hearing you, or?
All right, so you're talking like the third
later
phase.
stage.
So yeah,
When they're in really bad.
So during that later stage, people can still hear you. They can understand parts of what you're saying. It's very important that you pay attention to the tone of your voice and the way that you're speaking to somebody. So if they're reclined, their eyes are closed, they're, maybe look like they're relaxing, but we know that they're a little bit awake, whatever the situation might be, it's really good to connect with them. You can read a favorite passage from a book, read to them from the newspaper, just even telling them about your day, but they can still hear you. They can certainly, relate to you in that manner. Just because I can't communicate back to you that I appreciate this doesn't mean that I don't.
So just don't read their body. Assume that they're listening to you.
And you bring up such a wonderful point. There is a whole movement around this, and I can't think of. We showed a movie about how different people are working on connecting with those in the end stages of dementia, and it's so wonderful through music, through different things. Bringing. I'll never forget when I brought my 6-month-old baby into the nursing home.
Yeah.
And a lady who was end-stage dementia and was swearing usually and aggressive, totally changed on a dime in response to that. A few years ago, we took Santa Claus around to visit this was right before the pandemic hit. We took him around to visit with some of our dementia clients at their homes. And some that were totally nonverbal said, I know Santa Claus.
I know you.
And, it gives me the chills still. One lady who was bedbound, he just sat and stroked her head a little bit and talked to her gently. And finally he said, I have to go. And she said, God bless you. And her family all started to cry. We've got to just focus and take the time. You don't know what's going to resonate with that person. They are in there.
Okay. Caller, does that help?
Okay, well, thank you very much. It was just, somebody that has Alzheimer's, and
good. Well, thank you for calling.
people, you go and you talk to them, but you have no idea what to say. You sit there for an hour and just try to make something up.
Well, like they just said, sometimes it's a one-sided conversation, but they're listening, and you never know when they're going to jump in on the conversation, right?
Absolutely.
Well, good for you. Well, thank you for calling. Have a good day.
Well, thank you.
All right.
Bye.
I've seen videos where they've put earphones on people and they play their music, and all of a sudden and then they go back down, in and out. Like So odd. Yeah.
And it's proven that people respond best to music or popular things from when they're from about 18 to 35. So if you know that this person is however old they are, go back and see what the top 10 songs were, and if that solicits any type of reaction, even if it doesn't, playing it will bring them some sense of comfort.
We're down to about 4.5 minutes, and I want to make sure we talk about the Alzheimer's walk. So let's do that.
So you've probably heard in the news, first of all, that there has been a new drug released, with mixed reception for treating Alzheimer's and dementia. And, I was talking to Jill Horner, who's the head of the Western New York chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. She was saying that, this is just one of many drugs in the pipeline. And one of the major ways that this research is happening is through donations directly to the Alzheimer's Association. They fund most of the research. Not that the National Institutes of Health and other organizations don't, but the majority is the Alzheimer's Association of America is doing and funding research. And the main fundraiser for that is the Walk to End Alzheimer's. So we can all play a role. We do a walk every year. This year, again, it's going to be at Point Gracia. Last year we did it virtually, but this year it's going to be again on September 25th at Point Gracia. Chautauqua County Office for the Aging Services has our own team. You can walk with us, you can form your own team, you can donate. But all of that is going to fund the research, and this is just so needed to bring these, other drugs that are close to being finished and giving some hope to people.
What time does it start?
Gosh, I think 9 a.m.
9?
We do. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We do a promise garden. So if you know someone who has Alzheimer's disease, if you were a caregiver, if you are someone who does have the disease, there's a way to signify that. And by the time we've filled up this garden full of flowers, different colors represent whether or not you have the disease, or if you're a caregiver, or if you've lost someone. It's a very powerful visual to see how many people there are affected.
Okay, and the website, where would they go to donate?
You can go to alz.org.
ALZ?
alz.org.
Pretty simple.
And then, or you could just Google Walk to End ALZ, ALZ, and find the walk that's happening in your area.
And if they want to donate to your team,
you can find our team on the walk.
So find team and we for
Chautauqua OFA, I think it's under.
Okay, all right, and then donate to that group if they want, right?
They
Just like
can.
all the other things that are going on. Okay, we're down to about 1 minute and 40 seconds here. So Claire, I'm going to throw it to you right now. What would you like folks to know about Alzheimer's and anything else that's going on?
Oh gosh, so much.
So much.
Really what I would like people to take away from today is that all of our programs and services are free. If you are affected by Alzheimer's or dementia, if you have questions, if you would like to volunteer, there are so many ways to get involved, but just as important as research is supporting the people that we already have in the area who have this disease. Supporting our caregivers, supporting our early stage folks, supporting people through these phases as they progress, and we understand the effects of stress and the burden that it does place on caregivers trying to navigate this alone. So I think the biggest takeaway is that you're not alone. There are things out there to help you. If you don't want to come to the Alzheimer's Association for help, let your family in, let your friends in. If your neighbor offers to help, people want to help, take them up on it.
Okay, they get good training and guidance. Marianne, you get closing comments.
Well, as Claire said, this is, there are a lot of resources, but I want to tell people that, it's one of the most feared, I think, things that people fear the most is getting Alzheimer's and dementia. And so they don't take care of other health problems that could be, a lot of things look like dementia, losing your hearing or not eating well or uncontrolled diabetes. So the most important thing is see your doctor.
Right.
If you think you're having problems, it may not be dementia, it may be something else that you can control. And you need to seek a physician, have him check you over, and treat those chronic diseases.
There you go. Prevention, prevention, prevention.
Exactly.
Early. Ladies, thank you for joining us today. And it's been a great show. And you got to come back again, Claire, okay?
Okay, sounds
and Marianne,
good.
you're
Thank
always
you.
on my comeback list. Folks, you've been watching Chautauqua Sunrise. My guests today have been Claire Corwin, who is community outreach with the Alzheimer's Association, and Dr. Marianne Spanos, who is the Director of Office for the Aging Services in Chautauqua County. I'm Doc Hamels, and I hope this was of some benefit to you. Call those numbers. What's that number again? 800-272-3900. And the Office for the Aging Services.
753-4582.
There you go. And we're just about out of time, so we'll see you again next Saturday right here on Access Chautauqua Spectrum 1301. Get out there and enjoy the good weather. It's a wrap.
Love it. Great job. That was fun.
Not